Is everybody ready?
No, but that doesn't stop us, so
I am
go
ready.
on.
Paco's the only one that's ready. He's the only one that's not panicking. We should all emulate Paco.
Be more
Yeah,
like Paco.
that's not happening. Good luck,
What
though.
would Paco do?
Wait, what did I do?
I don't know. What would Paco do?
What would Paco do?
WWD.
Oh my gosh.
You've given your lives for our cause. That's no small sacrifice, and I am grateful. It pains me to do this, but I have to ask more of you. It's not over yet. Rot, ruin, they ravage these lands, and the masterminds at play have their sights set beyond one lone island. You will help me, whether you like it or not. You're going to repay the debt now. You're going to pay for this resurrection and find the source of the contagion in the forest. It's a clear night, actually. Frost is settled after dusk. The scattered weaponry and scavenged gear lying about is crystallized with frost, and you're in a mass grave sitting bloated in the desolate wasteland. A woman shudders and rolls over abruptly, gasping for breath, potentially for the first time in a while. She was laid out separate from the other forms, perfectly preserved. Her scale mail creaks a little worryingly when she moves, and her hand almost subconsciously finds the spear lying beside her, even while she's still waking up. Her braid is nearly completely come undone, brown hair spilling over her shoulders as she gets her bearings. 6 seconds later, dozens of yards away, a man startles with a yell and shoves another startlingly well-preserved corpse off of him. Rich red tunic, muddied and cloak a little shredded, the man takes stock of himself. The figure he'd been partially pinned under, a slim woman in tattered clothes of foreign make and long white hair, sits up groggily. Elsewhere, 3 more individuals. A man with skin like marble, red eyes blinking in confusion as he stares up at the stars. A woman, purple tattoos trailing down the side of her face as she turns her head to watch a strangely dressed woman with purple skin claw her way out from under several unmoved bodies. You've all heard this voice in the back of your mind, in the hazy sort of limbo that you're in while you're still waking up. The moon hangs in the center of the sky. The air makes you all shiver. You're not equipped for a night out in the open. So how do you proceed?
The bodies next to me, are they wearing anything warmer?
They're dressed similarly to you. Looking around, you're actually dressed in armor that's pretty close to most of the corpses around you. You can make an investigation check to try and find something warmer. You manage to grab a cloak and a half-eaten blanket that you kind of wrap around yourself. It's warmth.
While
It
I was
looks like, honestly, as you're going through, it looks like a lot of stuff. You see bodies missing gauntlets, their weapons, their coin purses. It looks like someone's already been through here.
also as part of that check, am I wearing a uniform?
You're wearing scale mail. Sort of draped fabric under it and a tabard over it that doesn't have any design on it, but has sort of intricate filigree down the edge of it that's partially ripped out at the seams. It looks like it's taken a lot of damage.
All right. I presume I
Anybody else?
see the others.
You are all waking up at your own pace.
Okay.
Like I said, you are pretty much by yourself in regards to moving right now. Aran and Yvette are elsewhere, and then Carrie and Emberlosa and Teo are all within sight of each other.
Then I'm just going to start flipping bodies over and poking them.
All right. The rest of you,
What do I see?
you are in a mass graveyard. It is cold as fuck, and there is one other moving individual right next to you. These corpses are all startlingly well preserved, but the only person that's moving is a very tall, very lanky woman with white hair and a, I'm sorry, a staff. If you knew what an elf was, I could say she was an elf, but
I don't know. Thank God that I rolled a 2. So I'm very positive, and I'm going to try to see if anyone else is moving around me, like poking the woman that I know it might be alive.
unfortunately, Lucy isn't able to make it tonight, so I'm
Yeah.
not gonna try and Jaeger Yvette too much because I don't want to set a personality for her in your minds. So if we can all just politely skip over Yvette for the first session at least, that would.
Okay.
She's
I
going
want to
to
intensify
she's going to
that.
follow you pretty. She's gonna follow you patiently. She still seems a little dazed, and she's still clearly waking up.
Okay, I'm just going to help her to get up and
Mhm.
focus my attention on anything else. Like, I don't know, maybe some other people
All right, make a
moving
perception
or
check.
something. Thank God I am an elf.
The other woman would be the first one you would see with the braid and a spear in her hand as she kind of flips over bodies in the distance and checks them over for something.
I'm going to approach and say hi very nicely, very politely, and very happy, even though I'm in a very shitty place.
And what are the other three up to?
Said it was relatively cold, right?
It is hold on, I have the actual temperature. It's like 15 degrees by the
Then I'm just going for
like I said, it is not really feasible for you to spend the night out in the open
And you said
right now.
Kiarian and Amberlosa are within sight of Theo, right?
Yes.
I would also like to know what I'm wearing.
You are dressed in kind of shit. What gear do you have on right now? I'm sorry. I forgot that trying to load Teo's character sheet would destroy everything.
I have no idea why his sheet is like this.
Clerics.
What did you do with
Because
this?
he's a cleric.
Yeah.
Okay, you have all the spells.
Oh, yeah. So do I see the other two moving near me?
Yes. The dark-haired woman has sat up at least and is watching as the purple-skinned woman is having a rough go of it, honestly. She woke up the most trapped out of all of you.
Oh, dear.
Carrie Ann, if you want to try and make it out, I'm gonna need you to make me an athletics check.
Sure thing.
I'm going
body
to...
gets launched.
She's struggling and she's eventually gonna make her way out, but like I don't know how Carrion is reacting to this, honestly.
I would
Oh,
like
she's
to.
fucking pissed.
I would like
Okay, she is not happy about anything that's going on right now.
She might be tearing some limbs off of some bodies. You know.
pleasant.
For fun.
I would like to approach the dark-haired woman.
Alright, and you can
How
probably
close?
around you two, you and Amberlosa were probably about 35, 40 feet away from each other. Carrion was closer to Amberlosa, probably about 10 feet away from her, 10, 15 feet.
All right.
And around this point, when you get up to actually talk to the dark-haired woman, you do start to hear the sound of a male voice from behind you. A ways away, like clearly in the distance, but the sound carries here.
Like not even any recognizable words, just the sounds, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so it's about 15 degrees, you said. Anywhere within the surrounding area that I can see would be suitable for at least a temporary make of like shelter, even if it's like a block from wind from one direction or something.
Luckily, the wind chill is luckily and a little bit disgustingly, the bodies around you do provide at least some shelter. If you stood up, it would be different, but at least while you're sitting down.
Ugh.
How much open space do I have around me?
Probably about you, Carrion, and Teo are all kind of on the edges of a clearing. Like there are paths that have been moved so that people can walk around,
Alright.
or someone can walk around at least. Some of them are pretty thin and winding. And also, it is, a battlefield. Not everybody fell together in a clump,
How many bits of 2 items, loose cloth, and any form of loose wood or slow burning materials would be around?
Alright, so if you're planning on setting up a camp, then I'm going to switch to Paco and Jesus.
Are we? How
You
far
have been
away?
you've been approached by a tall as fuck well,
With leaves in his hair.
no, you're the tall as fuck one. That's 5'10". There you go. You are approached by a tallish, kind of elfy looking gentleman. Not that you know what an elf is. Fuck.
Question: do I know you?
No. Do I know you? Who are you? I mean, although you're the only alive person that I've seen.
Question: what about that one?
Well, I mean, she seems alive, but she doesn't respond. So I assume she's dying slowly. I don't know.
Question: is it normal
Yes.
for dying people to walk?
I don't know.
Guys, can we
Maybe.
please ignore the fact that Yvette's being so quiet?
I like the idea
No.
that they're just catatonic and walking around.
Okay.
Run's still rising and she's dying.
She's processing, y'all.
I'm going to give them the cloak, and I'm going to keep the blanket for myself.
I was going to ask, Can I use my thing? But I don't know that I have my thing.
You don't know that you have everything.
So I accept the cloak.
And then I'm gonna look around. Aside from the bodies, what else is around us?
Perception check
Can
or
I help?
investigation check.
I'm just like I'm just
If,
looking at terrain. I wasn't necessarily
yeah.
looking for. Okay,
I mean, just to see what you see.
my passive
know?
perception is higher than that.
Okay, if you're just looking around, what's your passive perception?
Alright.
Looking around, you see a bunch of, again, very well preserved bodies. None of them are moving other than you, the two elves that you don't know are elves, and across the ways. Would Teo or Carrion have stood up while Amberlosa is doing her thing
Well,
at any point?
I'm standing to approach Amberlosa, so
Okay, so
Am I still
you would also
fighting my
see.
way out of?
You know, you would have gotten out around. You would have gotten out around now.
Okay.
Maybe a
I'll
little bit before now.
I'll actually speak to Amberlosa when you get back to us.
Right. But you would see a dude in the distance moving around, and a few moments after that, a woman? The horns? A woman question mark. Stand up.
Let's go talk to some more dead people. And I'm gonna start walking towards them.
Yes.
And then
I'll follow.
I would have seen that they had pointed ears, so as we're walking, I am just playing with my ears to see if they're pointed.
They are round.
I'm brushing my hair and finding leaves, and I'm plucking them out until they hurt.
Alright, and now we're walking.
All right, so I'm approaching Amberlosa to get into like easy speaking distance, and you know what's gonna happen. You
Mm,
prepare yourself emotionally, Zaz.
okay. Continue.
Excusez-moi, excusez-moi, mesdames. Qui êtes-vous?
I'll turn around, kind of brow slightly raised. Gauging character, not really speaking though, yet. But do make a motion to like continue.
Votre nom, s'il vous plaît. Madame.
This is not a language you understand, Amberlosa. And
I
boy, am I glad that it's Amberlosa that you decided to, so I didn't have to fuck with you.
Hey, I'm speaking my native language. I don't know that I know other languages.
uh I'll reply. Fuck it, I'll reply in common. Language I don't understand, yeah?
It's a language you don't understand, that is correct.
Pardon, I don't understand you.
Ah, okay. And I am asking, madame, who are you? What is your name?
Amalosa?
Repeat that.
Ambelosa? Also,
Amberlosa. I see.
Amber... We'll work on it. I'm gonna continue picking up any bits of cloth or loose, slow burning items. Just enough to make a, like a small fire, they'll turn into charcoal or hot ash.
I'm just gonna
Mhm.
observe for a
While
moment.
you're doing this, the other three do approach, and if anybody had looked, you probably would have seen them pretty easily approaching. I doubt either of you were attempting to be stealthy.
No, as
I'm
a matter
very-
of fact. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
was.
I'm basically screaming, hi!
Yeah, we're both doing that exact same thing. We're both going. I'm going like yoo-hoo.
I'm waving my arms.
On the other
Hi!
side,
Oh, putain.
on the other side, there's a very angry tiefling stomping over.
Oh no.
Toti! Eh? Что это?
I'm sorry, I don't understand what you're saying.
Well, who are you? What is this?
This I don't know.
This appears to be a battlefield of some kind.
Well, yes, I can see that. Who are you? Huh?
Which one of us are you like looking at?
I'm looking between both of you.
The other
Sorry, but you're
three
both
are
lumped together
also
now.
Yeah, but
the other three
yeah.
are the other three
Oh
are
God.
also
I'm looking at
Everybody's
all of them.
I have absolutely no idea who those three are. But my name is Theo.
And you know this one? I'm
We just met.
motioning towards.
We have just met, madame.
Do I know my name?
Mm. Do you have it stitched on your cloak or something?
No. I
Then
don't know
no.
who I am. I say, putting a hand very high, full of leaves.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I say, I don't know who I am, putting a hand very high with a fist full of leaves.
I would be.
Well, that is most unfortunate for you.
And your name is?
Who's?
Yeah.
I'm vaguely gesturing towards Carrion, but also
Oh.
sort like I'm gesturing towards Carrion, but my eyes are going towards the three newcomers.
Well,
I don't answer, but you do see me trying to go around and check everyone's ears.
Okay, that's.
I continue plucking leaves out of my hair.
Right,
Um,
right. We're going to have a
the-
discussion about personal space.
I'm not touching. I'm just
The-
looking.
The
yeah.
white-haired one has pointy ears. So does the one with the cool like black to white ombre.
so does
the
the girl
dark-haired
with purple skin.
So does the girl with purple skin. The basically the only one here who doesn't have pointy ears other than you is the marble statue.
Who is weird in so many other ways.
Are you a statue?
Pardon?
Yeah, you look like a statue.
Well, last I checked, statues don't talk.
Maybe it's magic.
I do beg your pardon,
Ah, maybe.
but I don't believe I am a statue. No. But I am
Like,
still
what
waiting.
enough sufficient.
I'm still
stuff.
waiting for names from you, madame, and you, other madame, and you, other madame.
That introduces herself.
All the madames.
Mesdames et messieurs.
Yvette introduces herself because she does actually have her name stitched into her cloak.
Right. So it's just the tiefling that I don't know yet. I don't know what a tiefling is. Sorry.
I am now
Woman.
standing next to you, and I would be poking the statue, and then I poke not my armor, but a different softer part. I presume I feel a difference. That's fairly obvious.
You feel a fairly obvious difference. There's very little give to the statue's skin.
Question: is this normal?
Are you referring to my skin?
Yeah, because everyone else here looks soft.
I am still on the first topic of this conversation. We can move on to the next topic of conversation after I have heard everyone's names or close approximation.
Okay.
Well, that's an exchange. But question: do I have enough stuff to, at the very
Yes.
least, satisfy my needs and maybe one other person's?
Yes, if you huddle close, you and two other people could probably stay warm until the fire went out. How long the fire goes out, you'd have to make a survival check to see how well you built the fire.
Yeah, that's fine. How far away is the clearing again? It's not that far, right?
It's not that far.
Alright. Within sight line of the rest of the people?
I was under the assumption the party was in the quick.
Maybe they were. I don't know. Are they?
That we're
I
what?
was under the assumption that all of you were in the clearing, right?
We would
I
be
came-
wherever they were.
I came to
Yeah.
Amberlosa, so
Yes. Amberlosa, Teo, and Carrion all woke up on the edge of a clearing.
Alright.
yes.
So if you were to convene, you would have convened in the middle of said clearing.
Alright, well, I found enough stuff and I'm going to set it up.
Survival check.
Yay. First of all. Oh, look at
Has-
that. Much like
has-
any of that family lineage, 0.
Jesus Christ. Has Carrion actually gotten to say her name?
No.
Nope.
Cool.
Eh?
That's all I'm
You
waiting
don't know how long it'll hold.
on.
It's lit. Are you finding a manual way to light it, or
Oh no, I'm just gonna bunch some cloth up in my hand.
alright, that's what I was asking. Then you don't have any problems lighting it or anything, you just don't know how long it's gonna hold.
Oh, I don't really care that much. I just want to not be fucking freezing. Just gonna stand next to the fire,
Alright.
somewhat enthralled by its existence.
Alright. Well, Teo continues to try and get names out of.
Yes. Now since these two don't know who they are, and Yvette's the only one who's introduced me from their party, I'm looking full on at the horn woman. It's the last answer I need.
I would like to point out, Tall Point and I are trying to figure out our names.
Okay. So you're in the corner trying to figure out your names.
Yeah.
Okay.
Counting on the fingers.
Yeah, we're just telling us random.
We're just like
letters,
pointing at each other and making sounds.
Jesus.
basically, and screaming letters like A, B.
We sing the ABC song.
Please,
Absolutely.
please, for the love of God, let Carrion introduce herself so I can move on.
No.
Every time that
Fuck
Carrion
off.
starts talking, we just start talking.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
pretty much.
Jesus Christ. I...
I hate this fucking family.
What time is it? It's nighttime, right?
It's nighttime.
What's the sky like?
It's pretty clear,
Dark.
actually.
There a
I mean,
moon?
yeah, it's dark, but it's pretty clear. There's a moon. There's one moon.
What's it look like?
It is kind of relatively moon shaped.
I
Relatively
was just
moon
asking for the
size.
phase.
Yeah, yeah. I also picked up on the phase questions. As I don't know where you're going off.
I mean, I assume it's an orb.
This is actually a planet with a half
Shadow
of the
Laguna.
moon gone. Half the
I mean,
moon's
the
just
last
gone.
setting had 2 moons, okay, and one of them was big. So it was a reasonable fucking direction to take.
I
The
will try to be more
question.
clear, but I just wanted to know the phase of the moon.
Blue cheese, quality.
Can we
What flavor?
It's a full moon.
can we guess the date according to the constellations on the moon?
No, because you don't know how to do that.
Good point. I don't remember anything. I continue screaming noise.
Question. Are Carrion's wings visible? I'm asking this out of character.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Oh
There.
my god.
Oh no, don't worry. Carrion and Teo are both beautiful clusterfucks to look at if you are of the curious sort.
I mean, you didn't even mention Teo's wings.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Teo has like several sets of
Oh,
wings.
okay. Refabricate everything. I am looking at those and I'm trying to look at like myself to see if I have any.
Carrion's eyes are also
looking-
very interesting.
Nope.
So are Teo's.
I know. We're both very interesting.
You're
I-
both very interesting to look at. One of you is purple with bat wings. The other one has
Marble
Like-
statue with 3 sets of wings,
yeah,
all feathered.
and all of the sigil is fog.
Yup.
Alright, so the wo- the woman is looking over all of the wings in awe. You do not have wings yourself, unfortunately. Giving yourself a once over.
If she gets too close to me, I'm gonna hiss at her.
I would have walked up. I wouldn't have touched again, but I would be leaning in.
If you get closer, I will gut you like a fish.
Question. Are you
Yeah.
purple because it's cold?
I am purple, and it is not cold.
So, question. Are you purple because you're not cold?
Marvelous question too.
I am purple, and I am a comfortable temperature.
I mean, it's pretty fucking cold.
She doesn't have to know that. I'm bluffing.
I accept this uncritically. Um,
What else do you?
question. Why
Yes.
is your head more pointy than everyone else's?
It is not.
Yes, it is. You have you have an extra set of points.
I reach up and feel my horns.
You have an extra set of points.
They are there.
But why?
I do not know.
Oh god.
Okay.
The child of the group.
Oh, this is literally a 4-year-old with all the why questions, except they've been upgraded to question.
Teo, as you and Aran, not that Aran knows his name, sift through the area and look for any sort of documents or papers. You find some papers, you open them, hoping for something relating to the date or a significant event or whatever the fuck is going on right now. Most of them are disappointingly like family letters and all that sort of stuff.
But are they dated as to send times?
A few of them are dated a few of them are dated. You don't know how recent the date is, but the date says in the most recent one you can find the 215th of the month of rest.
The 215th?
The year is the 215th.
Oh, I thought that was
215th year, month of go.
I was
Not
like,
the 215th day.
I was like, how long are these years?
How many months does a month has?
How many months does a month have?
I might have, if Carrion's not answering any more questions, I would have walked over to the campfire.
Oh god.
I will ask her who she is.
Like, and just that, like, who are you?
Who are you? What are you called?
Uh, And then I walk towards the campfire.
Right.
And I'm going to start sticking random things into it and see what
Like,
happens.
No.
Let's
Please don't.
start with. I would have seen Amberlosa put cloth in, so I'm gonna try cloth first, then sticks, and then I'm gonna break off somebody's frozen finger and throw it in.
Jesus Christ.
okay. It all goes just about how you expect it to go. Well, not you, because you're experiencing everything for the first time, but Paco. It goes
Alright.
about the same way Paco expects everything to go. Mostly because I don't want to think about somebody throwing a finger into a fire.
Anybody
God,
else
that's
hungry?
smelly.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to think about it.
Oh,
It
boy.
probably smells good.
Speaking of, you are all actually getting pretty hungry, just so you know.
Oh, that did not help.
No. No, it didn't.
That definitely that definitely did not help. You, the four of you, as you're all gathered around, are actually the first ones to see Taylor and Ron. Have to wait until they come back. As hello. Are you?
You're cutting out.
I'm going out.
I didn't cut off. I didn't cut off. The person was cutting off because they're not entirely certain what they're looking at because they're living people here. As a figure actually approaches, you didn't notice them up until now because nobody's passed the persona. But he is wearing a like the figure that approaches you is covered from head to toe. You can't actually see any of the skin underneath the long coat and layered clothing underneath. And fixed to their face is a mask, kind of resembling a bird almost.
Oh, boy.
Are they near us?
They're approaching you right now. They're about 45 feet away now, but they're getting, walking up
I'm
to
just
you.
gonna do the yoo-hoo again. Hit him with the old yoo-hoo.
You boys.
Oh my god.
Like what you see, boys.
The figure gets close, and you watch as they fumble with a lit lantern on their belt, taking it off and lifting it so that they can see you guys a little bit better as they approach. Not to be rude, but how the fuck are any of you alive?
Oh no, we're dead. We established that.
No. Definitely not dead. And if you said dead, that usually ends in horrific results. For me. So, no, not dead. Woke up. Cold. Made fire. here we are.
Not to be rude, but I kind of saw your corpse.
Are you also dead?
The figure looks between the four of you, just kind of mask slowly swiveling before. I have room in my barn if you need a place to sleep.
I mean, I would like, so they're offering us a place to sleep. I am just hovering around them. I'm trying to look at their ears, but I'm also just looking at the rest of them.
Okay. Here, I will show you their art.
Oh, that type of bird mask.
Yup.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Welcome
the
to
kind of
Exarch,
bird mask.
boys.
I don't know why, but I was definitely picturing like a parrot head. Question:
Oh dear.
where are your ears?
Under my hat.
Can I see them?
Your offer is most gracious, and we would like to take you up on it, and hopefully would not be intruding.
Is this all of you then?
I think there's a couple over yonder. We can probably find them.
Okay.
Shouldn't be too hard to find. They'll be standing up.
Here's a point there.
It's pretty easy to find Teo to run. And Melissa's not wrong. And after you manage to collect your companions, you follow this gentleman out of the graveyard. And as you leave the area proper and start to walk out into what looks like you're surrounded by trees. Like it would be a forest at one point, but the grass underneath your feet as you walk is brittle and crunches under your feet. It's definitely exacerbated by the frost, but like the grass isn't in great shape to begin with. And the trees don't look dead from winter, they look just dead. Many of them have already fallen onto their sides, and there isn't a single living plant that you have seen as of yet, as this person starts to walk you towards an outcropping that you can see in the distance. And you can see smoke grazing from a chimney, so it looks like he actually does have a house here.
Question:
And on the walk,
Oop.
okay.
is it always like this?
Just about, yeah. There's a curse on all that fun stuff.
Question:
Hmm?
what's a curse?
He stops walking for a second and turns around to face the rest of you. Do any of you remember anything?
I shake my head.
Yet.
Do you know who we are?
Um,
I think if they knew
no.
us, they would address us by name.
Do you know what happened here?
Let's get you inside and then talk about it more. So you are walked to this gentleman's shack, and he actually ushers you into the primary building for now. You can see that it's partially built into this rocky outcropping, and the shed looks like it actually looks like a cave that was excavated out and had like a door slapped on the front of the cave entrance. Well, the house looks a little bit more like it was actually constructed out of the stone, but it's sheltered. And you're let into the building proper for now, as he immediately bustles into the kitchen and starts to make you all food and tea.
Question, out of character. That's super annoying now that I realize, because I do that normally. Clarification. Clarification. Does he take
Uh-huh.
the mask off?
He has not taken the mask off yet.
Are there like spare masks hanging around?
You do not see any spare masks hanging around.
Okay, never mind then.
Thank God. Offered shelter, kicked out immediately.
I am going to. I probably don't follow him into the kitchen, but I am gonna just amuse myself looking around at what's in the room that we're in with everyone
I mean,
else.
it's the. You see that there is a. You see that there is a trap door to like a loft-ish area, but most of the building is just all one room, so you can see what's going on. And he kind of has to brush past some of you. Honestly, 7 people in this room is a little bit crowded,
I
but
would say so.
So now that I have to ask the question because he asked it earlier walking here. How many of all of us don't remember what happened?
I remember
raised my
everything that
hand.
happened. There were 5 of us, and same thing again.
Before that,
Yes, ignoring Q over there.
I do not remember a battle, but I woke up in one.
Okay, so what about before that?
There wasn't anything.
I remember before.
What?
But I do not remember meeting any of you.
Yeah, I don't remember meeting any of you last time. Doing my own little self project and went to sleep and apparently woke up in a corpse-ridden field.
what was the date? I just slipped in the tally for a second there. Imagine that in a mishmash accent, in Pietro's mishmash accent instead. What was the date?
Do I remember that? I don't know if I remember that.
The last date you would remember would be the last you remembered, as I frantically scroll through my notes. I'm sorry. The last date that you remember is the 27th of the month of Justice, the year 215.
Last I remember, 27th.
No, 214. I'm sorry.
214th of the month of
Yeah.
Justice, I believe.
Did you say 7th of the month of Ghost?
It is the 27th of the month of Ghosts,
Yeah,
and it was
sorry.
the 27th of the month of Justice that I said Amberlosa last remembered.
Okay.
Is 2 years ago the last any of you remember? Except for he gestures vaguely towards the Eladrin and the human as he's pouring the tea.
Anybody answering, or
Okay, good to know.
it seems
I-
that no one answers.
Yeah, nobody answers.
I'm sorry. I was just distracted trying to write everything down.
I'm going to close my eyes and focus really, really hard,
Mhm.
and then say, I remember when it was really dark, not dark like it is right now. Before I could see anything, someone was talking. They were talking. They said I had a debt. There was something in the forest.
They were talking to you too.
There was rot and there was ruin.
There is always rot and ruin there. What makes it special?
That's just what I remember? Do you know them? Question. I'm just asking the dude.
The dude sets down food and tea for all of you. And there's not really any other places to sit. Honestly, some of you are probably sitting on the floor already, so he's just gonna sit on the floor and take off the bird mask.
Instantly lose my shit.
Oh my god, you thought it was his face.
Underneath is actually someone who looks more like you than anybody else in this party. Tanned skin, dark brown hair, round ears, kind of, I mean, very, very human. A little bit of scruff. More just because he forgot to shave this morning.
And can you tell us where exactly we are?
You are in the desolate wastes.
Pleasant.
Yes. It's, you're in the country of Glycellen. It's on the Estertoy Isles, which is off of the Elven continent. It's where humans, like me and like you, he gestures towards the unnamed woman, where humans are native to, and it's where dwarves are native to. It's super fucking cursed, like your freaky dream lady said. Over the last 5, 10, 15 years or so, the majority of the forest, including the heart itself, has completely fallen to this desolation that you see around you.
Question.
Uplifting.
And so,
Why are you here? Why aren't you desolated? Did you wake up?
no, I moved out here to loot your corpses. Not yours specifically.
Is that legal?
It's really a bit of a gray area. Actually, they repealed a lot of the laws regarding scavenging when most of the country fell to the desolate wasteland.
Well, regardless, the dead don't need him anymore.
But what if they wake up?
Surely there are proper channels to return the belongings to the places they should go. Families, employers.
Wouldn't really fucking matter if there weren't any legal channels. So, I
Hmm.
mean, when you think about it, a great number of the corpses out there weren't human, elven, or dwarf, so their belongings don't matter. And the belongings that are human, elven, and dwarf, well, nobody's come to look at them, so they're undesirable. And nobody is going to come and stop me because, well, they kind of fucked me and sent me out here.
Seems fair enough.
I'm sorry. I don't fully understand. So, these humans, dwarves, and elves, they matter, but those not of those races do not.
According to most of the population, yes.
Interesting.
Listen,
Is it?
if all of you don't have your memories, I would honestly recommend stay away from cities for that. And he's very clearly looking between Carrion and Ateo while he's saying. He's trying to make eye contact with both of you to make sure that this sinks into your head.
So he's
I just raise a singular eyebrow at him.
I'm just not blinking, just staring with the pupilless red eyes that I have.
Scary.
Would you mind expanding on that if you're going to look at us like that?
Well, I mean, I could probably make an assumption for you.
I'm all ears.
No, you're not. You're all wings.
Oh dear.
He's true. He has a point.
No,
I have a little wings.
no, they have a point. They have 2 points. I mean, you have a
Okay,
point too.
This
Actually,
is
a lot of
believe-
you have points.
absolutely ridiculous. Now, I can make the assumption I've dealt with it in the past before. There's those below and there's those above that certain races are viewed in more higher regard. You two, not so much.
Not beating around the bush like she did. He points at Carrion. You are what is called a plague bringer, for obvious reasons.
Yes, for obvious reasons.
You bring plague.
That's what the general population thinks, at least. But if they knew better, then they wouldn't think that.
Oh,
There are a lot of people that they think bring plague that don't.
but you know better.
Of course.
Of course. And why do you know better?
Because I used to work in the plague before I had to leave the cities to move here into the middle of nowhere with the plague.
And the reason I am someone to avoid?
Well,
Uh,
look at you.
Yeah.
I don't understand
It's
what's wrong.
people that look like you aren't very. You might get killed out of fear of the unknown. Or fear of the celestials if people do know what you are.
I see.
We're in a plagued land. Not a lot of people have positive views towards beings that are supposed to be full of divine good, but don't do anything to help.
Does this mean
Understood.
French is our stand-in for celestial?
No, because that is not the native language he was speaking.
Okay, never mind. I was about to say, no wonder everything's gone to shit.
You think I would ever make French the language for celestial? Really?
Oh god, the gods are French. Run.
Don't run, invade.
They've only blocked off one area of the celestial plane, boys. We only need go around.
If we cut through the Feywild, they'll never see us coming.
They'll never cross through there. There's too many trees.
Oh my god.
I just asked them if I am a human.
No, you are an elf.
What is an elf?
The race of humanoid, like humanoid wouldn't be the default term in this setting. A race of bipedal sapient people that live on the continent to our east, primarily.
Like
But
me, but
they-
with more nobilistic features.
Question. I'm wearing his mask, by the way.
When did you put that on?
Sometime during the conversation when he was talking to Point Wing and Hard Wing about racism.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
Why are all the bodies out here? You said nothing lives here, but they would have to be alive in order to get here, and you're alive here. So why are they here?
Okay. What happened?
Um. Well, that's sort of a. Nobody really knows. This area isn't exactly well patrolled at the best of times, and nobody had any reason to live out here. I'm the only one that lives anywhere within dozens of miles from here. And it wasn't happened upon until gods know how long after the battle actually happened. The corpses aren't rotting, so we had no metric with which to judge.
Question.
But
If you're the only one here, why are you taking their stuff?
to sell it,
To who?
people that live in the cities elsewhere.
I sort of tap the nose of the mask. Question.
Mm-hmm.
And then I like move it up and down a bunch. Why do you have two faces?
As that's the mask. It's a part of the order that I used to be a part. It's technically illegal for you to be wearing it.
Question. I have no concept of crime. Question.
Oh God.
You know, you do not have to start every question with the word question.
You can just.
We understand.
It's a question.
It does add a certain amount of order to the entire conversation, though.
No, it is annoying.
Annoying, but useful.
No.
I
We
agree with
all
that.
know that she is asking a question. Or does she have to specify it?
Because specifying things makes things clearer, more efficient.
But if she is already being clear,
What is your question?
I forgot.
Good to know.
I literally just forgot.
I would like to ask, what kind of tea is this?
Black.
Do you have sugar?
He gets up to go find the sugar.
I'm drinking and eating like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah, you are all are fucking starving. It is like you have not eaten in days.
I mean,
Apparently years.
eat and drink, but I am keeping face. I'm not going to just shove that shit down my face.
oh dude, I am.
Oh no, I'm
Same.
being
I'm
like polite as
inhaling that.
I'm like
Same.
I am going full like fancy continental Europe on how I'm eating.
I'm just grabbing food with both my hands and
Oh.
stuffing it in my mouth.
I'm fighting you for food.
Same. I'm growling at you at some point.
I'll bite your finger.
How absolutely modest of all of you.
Like you get your sugar.
I put 3 spoonfuls of it.
Sir, I do apologize for the mess that I'm making.
I invited 6 strangers into my house that woke up in a graveyard. I didn't really expect much. Are all of you just going directly to the shed and going directly to sleep, or
Do I see anything interesting on the walk to the shed?
I mean everything's interesting because everything's new.
That's true, but does anything look especially interesting?
I mean, your
Anything-
companions are especially interesting. This building is especially interesting. This shed is especially interesting because you've never been in the inside of a cave before.
I have never been inside of a cave before. Is it carved out, or are there more pointy things sticking out of perhaps the ceiling and the ground?
It looks like it was originally a smaller cave that was like carved out so that it was more conveniently sized.
Gotcha. Is there a door?
Yep.
Okay.
There's a door and there is like it's surprisingly well insulated in here, especially with 6 people sleeping in one tiny shed.
Yeah, is there like a fire?
Well, I mean, it's a cave. And you have the door closed.
Question out of character.
Mm-hmm.
How am I going to sleep?
You trance. You don't sleep.
I know. I don't know that I don't sleep.
You are going to try to sleep, and you're going to not sleep, and you're going to wake up rested anyway, going like, all right, I guess that's how it works.
Um,
I'm just going to walk and just flop on the floor, and I'm instantly asleep.
All right.
oh thank God. While the curious cat is inside, I am going to just stay outside for a hot minute and like stretch out my wings.
All right.
Because God, they must be stiff.
It is a
It-
good thing you did that while I was asleep.
That's exactly why I waited.
Well,
I'll probably just pick like a corner or something, lean up and rest and think on the information that it's been 2 fucking years since my last memory.
I'm going to sleep sitting up.
Okay.
I refuse to lie down.
Okay. But everybody finds their rest eventually.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, Amberlosa,
Mm.
you are everybody has already gotten into the shed and in various states of falling asleep, except for a very confused looking Iran, who probably like triumphantly shouted his name like 15 minutes ago. I don't know. Would you share when you found out your name?
yes, absolutely. I will
All
go like,
right.
oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I found my name.
I'm already asleep.
What's a
And for
God?
that, we are most grateful.
Amberlosa, you would wake up after the human fighter because the human fighter fell asleep first.
I probably am the one who wakes you the fuck up. It's just like shaking, like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, what's on you?
I would probably have my hand like pressed up against the chest. Get your hands off me.
I hold my hands up, but I'm still right here, and I'm still talking.
What?
Question.
You see, I have a fan.
What is that?
In front of, before your eyes, the small dragonling visibly preens.
A friend.
Can I
So
talk
you
to
all
it?
wake up for the.
I mean, you can talk to it. Can't guarantee that she'll respond.
question. Do you know who I am?
Do you ask that to the dragon?
Yeah,
thing?
I asked that to the dragon.
She looks back up at you, just blinks, and you can't hear this, but I have never seen this woman in my life.
Yeah, I kind of figured. Really, just.
I am still like wherever Amberlosa is going, I'm following and just looking at this thing.
Oh, that's going to get dreadfully annoying. That is definitely telepathically.
It honestly doesn't even matter.
Well, one advantage for them is they're a bit naive, so maybe.
Draza settles in more and is definitely keeping an eye on the human. Although she's also definitely keeping an eye on the tiefling as Carrion goes through whatever Carrion's morning routine is.
I don't know. I mean, I wake up and I'm just there.
Alright, good to know.
I guess I'm people watching.
I'm like pacing around this inside of this shed, like trying to walk away from this this hyperactive ADHD 20 question machine.
More than 20.
I was being
Well-
so polite.
While the human is distracted, I'm gonna do what Carrion did last night and go outside to stretch my wings.
And then nobody's gonna be flying around me for sheer fear of what will happen.
I
will.
I slept sitting up. I'm sure they're stiff, and I need to take care of this before she starts asking questions.
As you are. Oh,
Aran is only like laying against a wall with the eyes open.
I'm talking to the human girl. Talkative one. You.
You get my attention from the dragon.
You do not know what you are called, correct?
That's it.
That is why you keep asking people who you are? Yes?
Yes.
Would you like a name?
I'd like to know who I am.
But for now, would you like a name?
Do you know who I am?
Perhaps.
Who am I?
I will call you Vopros.
What?
I don't like that name.
Out of character, it's just Russian for question.
Okay. You can call me that if that's who I am to you.
Ah? Your name is Vopros. Mystery solved.
Oh, it's not? And then I walk away back to the dragon.
Oh,
I'm gonna go
that's
outside and also
that
stretch my
certainly
wings.
did not last very long.
as Victor is stretching your wings, you actually do. Back in his bird mask, Pietro steps out and he has a very large sack slung over his shoulder. And the second he walks up to Carrion, he's just gonna drop it at her feet because she looks stronger than Teo. No offense, Teo.
I am.
But one of you has a disgusting strength score.
I'm not even offended. I mean, I have 14 strength, which isn't bad, but I'm a statue.
What is it?
Camping supplies, mostly. Some rations, a few torches.
How far
It
is it from here to anywhere else?
I was actually going to ask you to get the rest of your group so that we could. I have a suggestion, and then I also just have the location of the nearest couple towns. If you'd take my suggestion.
All right.
So
I'll poke my head back in the barn, shed, whatever. The man has information. Would you like to hear?
Yes, anything to get me away from another question.
nearest village is Mumold. 2 days to the east. You can buy carts there, horses, anything you need. I added enough gold in that sack for a cart and a horse. If you need it. If not, then well, gold spends gold. I also there is this wizard, scientist, which is spellcaster. Uh, Northeast of here, the only other person I know actually living in the desolate wastelands that isn't bandit or criminal. Her name is Vanessa Altum, and she has been studying the battlefield as well as the plague. So she might have some answers.
I side-eye him.
Do you want to insight check him?
Yes.
Is it the right thing to do, or is he just feeling guilty for being a grave robber?
And he probably robbed us.
So it's just our own stuff back in the bag.
Yeah, your own stuff.
So you rolled shit, but he rolled a natural 3 and his charisma is a 9. So he's clearly holding something back, and pretty much everybody can tell because that is a 2.
Wow, mask on and everything.
I know. It's the voice. His voice cracks like midway through.
Is there anything else you wish to tell us?
Um. Okay, so it may be because he gestures towards a carrion. Because my daughter was sick and they thought it was plague when it wasn't. And none of you are exactly desirables in the city. Well, except for you. And he gestures towards a rod.
Yay.
And you. He gestures towards the unnamed human.
Yeah, no, I don't believe that for a second.
I mean, she might be desirable
Appearance.
until she starts to question them.
She has the ears. That's all that matters.
I touch my ears again. Question.
So, yes, answer. Anything that's not a question about this?
No.
What is this?
The entire topic?
Oh, I thought he was like
Let
pointing
him-
at something.
No.
Let him continue to answer the question before you ask another question.
Where can I get one of your masks?
Start working plague research and make a name for yourself in plague research.
So this wizard Vanessa?
She likely has a mask.
Good.
Can you please return to your original train of thought?
I mean, that was pretty much it. I had a daughter. I don't exactly appreciate people treat plague bringers as a walking contagion. If
Hmm.
I can do something to make their lives easier, then even if they're weird tieflings who woke up in a graveyard after having been dead for 2 years.
Haven't had the same experience, but do understand to some degree, so.
So Vanessa Ultim is if you just pass, and that should actually take you to Mumo 2. You have to pass through the village to get to her tower. And also there is, if you tighten with your inquisitive friend, I'm hesitant to recommend this option. But if you really want to know more about the battlefield itself, and soon, there is a being that lives near here. Not necessarily a nice, and not necessarily one that is guaranteed to talk to you, but one that can talk. And well, if it's worth talking to an aberration to you.
Mm,
That would
mm,
depend on the aberration, wouldn't it?
I don't know what kind. I've never seen it in person. I just know enough to stay away from the area.
Question:
But
if you've ever seen it, how do you know it's real?
it has cultists, followers that are just slavishly following its whims. But that implies that it's smart enough to maybe have what happened just as an option. Otherwise, Mew Mold is that. You're welcome to stay in my shed another night if you absolutely have to. And I really do think that Vanessa Alton might be able to help you with your memory problem.
I don't want to be rude, but I had a very rough time sleeping last night, so I don't think it's a good idea to stay.
Um, you are aware that elves don't sleep, right?
Elves don't
No,
sleep.
you wouldn't be because you don't have any of your memory. I apologize. Elves don't sleep.
Perhaps it would be best that we have a moment to discuss this and figure out a plan.
He's just gonna nod his head and take a couple steps back to let you guys football huddle, I guess.
The most efficient choice would be to go to Vanessa in order to ask her more questions, because
I
it would
think it's
also take
probably additionally the most safe.
exactly. We get to go through the village to obtain other supplies and information, and we get to go to the spellcaster, which is infinitely preferable to the idea of a cult and an aberration.
And an aberration that there's no guarantee that they would be hospitable in any shape or form.
But they will tell us what happened when whatever this happened, and we were in this thing when that happened, maybe.
Think
True.
about this for a moment. This is a being powerful enough to gather a cult around it. Do any of you even know if you are capable of fighting?
I look at my greatsword. I believe I am.
I look at
That-
my spear, my crossbow, and all the weapons that I have. Maybe
That is the one thing I do remember.
Do you know how to use your weapon?
Well, there's an obvious way to find out.
other than using it.
And this is how we all kill each other in
Yeah.
session 0.
Exactly. Let's start again.
Some Edge of Tomorrow shit starting here.
I say we go to the wizard. It's also quite possible that we could buy a map in the town and other supplies that will provide us more information than anything some being in the forest could do.
Okay.
Have you figured out something we can call you yet?
Carrion calls me something.
I'm just gonna keep
Da.
calling them Q until I
Call
can think of
her
something.
Vopros. It means curious one.
Right. Well, you'll pardon me, madame, if I find that name uncomfortable to put my lips to. It's challenging.
Vaporous.
Vopros.
No, I'm sorry, madame.
You do not even try. This
All
insult.
Boros.
There, see? That one tries.
I cannot even say our other friend's name here. Madame Amberloza. It's what hope do I have of that word?
Oh, I cannot say her name either. Emberlosa? No.
I
Very
think
simple.
I believe I will just stick to calling you madame.
I will call you Losaya.
Folsaya.
He's Google translating it.
Losaya is just a diminutive form of Amberlosa. It's not an actual word.
Wow.
I think I will stick with madame, and if it gets confusing with the other madame, I shall choose something else.
You could
Madame 1
call
and Madame 2.
Losaya Madame
We just
and
sing
Madame
one
one
thing
Vopros
too.
and madame deux.
Mademoiselle.
That's really long.
Mademoiselle is not exactly something to polite to call
Yes,
a
I am
woman.
well aware. I know what it means.
It is a tad impolite, but perhaps for the curious one, it makes sense. You are. How young does she look?
I was going to
Uh,
ask.
I believe I have my. I didn't set an age.
You didn't set an age. You don't know
Nobody
your
has an
age.
age.
I don't.
How?
But like,
Amberlosa has an age now that she knows how long it's.
Amberlosa is 2.
Aw.
Oh, it's time to start her terrible twos.
Summon a demon.
Aww.
Bitch, you don't think that's in the future plans already?
She's only 24 months old.
Oh,
You,
I will burn you fuckers all.
I'm made of stone. I might be fireproof. You know nothing.
I might be fireproof because I am a mystic.
We can test
Are
it.
you guys, have you guys come to your conclusion?
Yes, but how old does she look? How old?
Oh, probably,
I look fairly youthful.
Like,
yeah.
if we were to guess, Like 12?
If you had to guess,
Not like 12.
early 20s, maybe late teens at the earliest.
Actually, I'd take it back. It would be less rude and more proper to just refer to you as mademoiselle. Madame and mademoiselle. There, settled for me.
Right, back to our original topic of discussion. Town, yes?
I say so, yes.
Duh.
Uh-huh. Sounds boring, but yeah.
We need supplies.
Yes, we need the supplies and it sounds safer.
Boring.
Well,
I
if you
don't think I'm
think it
gonna
is
like you.
boring, you can leave and go elsewhere.
Do you even remember what a town is like? To know if it is boring or not?
I just shake my head.
I rest my case.
Well, at least someone uses some applied logic.
So the town is our decision, yes.
Pietro
I mean,
is gonna obligingly just step forward, and you guys don't really have much else to do with them, so
I would ask him everything he knows about the plague because he has a mask from the person who he says is a plague researcher who can therefore give me a mask. So therefore, I'm going to be a plague researcher and get a mask.
Oh
So
god,
what does he
that's
know
so
about the
many
plague?
questions. That's getting rapid fired at him. Oh my god.
Yep, everything he
If you
knows about
try
the
to
plague.
take any samples in my sleep, I will kill you.
Don't worry, she hasn't gotten to the point where she can consider that.
That's true.
I don't think I can sleep. I can't sleep, so I can watch for you.
um the plague, like I said, about 10, 15 years ago, I'd say probably closer to 15 at this point. It came in conjunction with the spread of the rot and the desolate wasteland, which is why most people think that they're related. And well, I can go into the multitude of symptoms and all that.
Absolutely.
All right,
It will
I
help.
will. I
Why
will
did that
send you
sound so
the.
creepy?
I will send you the doc I have for the plagues later, Paco.
Okay.
But he is going to go into detail. There's several different like common strains of the plague and all that sort of stuff. So it's not something I can easily just
Yeah, no
ramble
problem.
off. It's like a solid 2-3 pages of notes.
No problem. I just wanted to get that out of the way now that he established that plague researcher equals mask.
Yes. But long story short, the primary 3 strains of plague are the strain of plague where you are highly symptomatic and highly contagious. There's the one where you are highly symptomatic but only contagious after the catalyzing event, which I'll discuss later. And there is the plague strain that is not very symptomatic and highly contagious. And that's the most dangerous one.
Sensing a theme.
There are three distinct strains that all are pretty different from each other in a way that implies that it may not have been a naturally created disease. Essentially, is what he gets at with that, and they all culminate in a catalyzing factor, which is when the symptoms and the disease do eventually kill the victim. Well, yeah, zombies.
Ooh.
3 days later, they just wake up again. But they don't look anything anything close to mortal anymore, which is why you were kind of given a little bit of leeway.
Well, we woke up 2 years later, so maybe we're just different. There could be 4.
We do not
Don't
know
worry,
it was
don't
2
worry.
years later.
Don't worry, he took that into consideration. There's a reason why you were sleeping in the shed.
You should give me your mask, so I don't give anyone the plague.
I am not going to give you my mask.
But maybe I'll
No, that's it. I'm
catalyze.
not going to give you.
He's gonna keep trying.
I apologize. Well, if there's nothing else, I think we should perhaps make some headway.
We should divvy up these supplies to make carrying easier, and then we should.
Well, obviously. Makes the most sense.
All right, you have 2 tents, or 3 tents. I'm sorry. You have 3 tents, supplies for a campfire, and like camping supplies, and he only had 5 bedrolls, so 5 bedrolls. And you set off on your way to Millmore. Like he said, it is about a 2 days travel, and we will find out more about that next week.
I have an out of character question.
Yeah.
How often does Teo, bleed?
It's you probably have to deal with that sort of. It depends on the day, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But you're probably dealing with like one bad one by the time you guys set off, or one relatively bad one by the time you
But-
guys set off.
By the time we set off, okay.
Yeah.
Is it like turbo chaffing or?
As you guys are starting to walk, I don't know if anybody's like actually watching Teo when this happens, but Teo,
I mean, I have passive
just-
perception.
Teo just bends his arm a little bit the wrong way, and you all hear this sound like rocks scraping together really unpleasantly.
Teo have arthritis?
Teo's made of marble.
Are you sure you're not
Teo's
a
made of
statue?
marble. Marble is not flexible.
Are you sure you're not a statue?
Quite.
I think my favorite little sub note that I asterisk as not a real plan, but it says future plan: invade the celestial plane, go through the Feywild.
Okay.